Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. So, screen.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So I'm sharing my screen for Mangalacharan. You can recite at your own pace. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namaha Pankajanaභaya Namaha Pankajamaline Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangrahe Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Sopadantikam Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desattarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone, and welcome to our ongoing discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. Hopefully we will be uh, nearly finishing today Canto 4, and let's see. So yesterday we discussed how till 30 chapter we had gone more on 30, but we will continue again from 30 and 31st. So in 30th chapter, Maitreya Muni asks that what did the Prachetas do and what they are doing and kind of. Then Maitreya Muni starts saying that the Prachetas actually they have uh, done the austerity for 10,000 years, and then they could see Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu came in front of Prachetas with his eight-handed form, eight-arm form, and with a yellow garment with Kastuva money, and he was well decorated, and he was in Garuda. And we understood yesterday that even being a Garuda being a bird, she could fly within the ocean. Right? It's very difficult, or it's not possible for any bird to fly, but Garuda is again a person, right? And he says flying inside the ocean as well. And then by seeing Prachetas, Lord was very pleased, and he glorified them. That he said that you all maintain a very nice friendship within yourself, and by that I am very much pleased on you. And because of that, you were also very well doing the process of bhakti in between, being cooperating within or yourself. See, the thing that even in this Kali Yuga, we see that so many times even brothers and brothers they fight each other. And now here, the 10 brothers, they are performing austerity with all friendship and cooperation. That's a learning for everyone else. And then Lord says that because you have been making a very friendly relationship between you, and I'm very much pleased with that. And I'll say you may ask for any benediction. And then Prabhupada says that those who remember, and even Lord Vishnu says that anyone who remembers you will develop good friendship within them. So remembering Prachetas is actually, we can develop the quality of being good friend to others as well, and being very kind to others. And then he says, and those who actually offers me means Vishnu, the prayers composed by Lord Shiva or the Rudra Gita, and both in the morning and in the evening, they will given a benediction by me. And what is that? He said, they in this way they can fulfill their desire, as well as they will attain good intelligence. And Prabhupada writes a very nice purport here. He says, what does Krishna mean here, being providing good intelligence, those who chant the Rudra Gita in the morning and evening for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu, is that, as in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam, with devotion, someone who worship me. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yene mam upayanti te. Means Krishna gives that intelligence. What that intelligence? By which yena mam upayanti te, by which they can come back to my abode. So that is how Krishna's provide a good intelligence, those who worship him with love. And that good intelligence is, by that, the devotees, they can engage themselves in the loving service of the Lord, and at the end they come back to Godhead. And uh, and he says, in devotional service, everyone actually has the same goal. It might have some because of the nature, we may have some different thoughts. Maybe like uh, everything is on devotional service to Lord, but depending on nature, like someone may be a very good kirtaniya, so he is doing devotional service by doing kirtan. Maybe someone is very nice in giving lecture or preaching, he is doing service to Lord by the preaching work. Maybe someone is very good at photography, and he is doing photography of the events, and he is serving the Lord. The pujaris or the cook, they all have different tastes. However, they are all actually coming together to serve the Lord. The supreme goal is to serve the Lord, and that depends upon the nature of the person, how they do. So, as being said, either you are flooring the temple hall, or you are flooring the temple, or you are doing a deity worship, or you are cooking in the kitchen. Every service is actually same for Lord. So there is no difference between, okay, someone is very pujari, okay, he is doing very nice service. Yes, in our eyes it looks that he's maybe elevated because he's doing some of these services, but in Lord's eye, every service is equal to him. And he says, Krishna says that you are actually being very submissive as well, because you have accepted the orders of your father within your heart, and you have performed it. And also you have accepted the order of the spiritual master, Lord Shiva, who gave you the mantras to do the austerity, and you performed it very, very well. And then Lord says, I instruct you to get married with a girl named as Marisha. And we discussed about the Marisha, that the Marisha is the daughter of it says Kandu and Apsara Pramocha. So once, like uh, Indra wanted to disturb the austerity or meditation of Kandu, and he sent Apsara known as Pramalocha, and she distracted Kandu, and they begot a child, and the child was Marisha. However, the Apsara said, I won't be taking care of this child. I'm going back to my kingdom now. And then Kandu says, he also said, I won't be taking any more care for that. And they left both on the child on the floor. And then by the mercy of the Lord of Tree, that is Moon, he put one of his finger under the mouth of the little baby, of the child, and from that everything, she got all the nourishment from there. And then she was being taken care by the trees. And that is why Lord says, you marry with her. And then after that, Prachetas, they offer obeisances to Lord. They start glorifying the Lord. They says, my Lord, you reveal all kinds of material distress, and you are magnanimous transcendental qualities, and your holy name are all auspicious. And the conclusion is already settled, and you can go farther or faster than the speed of mind and words that we discussed yesterday as well. And you cannot be perceived by material senses. Very important point here. They said, by our material senses, by all our energies, we won't be able to perceive Lord. However, just being obedient and offering respectful obeisances to Lord, and seeing the scriptures and accepting the instruction of spiritual master, we can actually see him very easily. And Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that the material senses cannot perceive Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastime. And when a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the holy name and taste the remnants of prasadam or Lord's food, then the tongue is purified. And once tongue is purified, gradually someone can able to understand who Krishna is, who really Krishna is, and what the position of him is. We'll see in Canto 5 that how the universe is being all placed. There's a very brief description of universe is given by Shukdev Goswami, but that's says that how you know we'll see discuss it a lot there, that what kind of knowledge it is that he has created this so huge universe without any fault over there. Just imagine it. And it's not just small, we'll see it on that time. It's very soon, coming in only. And then they glorified more, and they say Lord is always is a pure goodness, And then they say that, the dear Lord, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you, because from your abdomen sprouts the lotus flower, and that is the origin of all living entities. And you are always decorated with lotus garland, and your feet resembles the lotus flower with all its fragrances, and your eyes are like lotus petals of the lotus flower. And therefore, we always offer our respectful obeisances unto you. And hence, they glorified more Lord's form and everything. And then they say that, what benediction, then as Lord says that you ask for benedictions, they are thinking what we can ask for you. We discussed about a beggar, what a beggar can ask from a king, or asking a king just give me a 5 or 10 pound. It doesn't make any sense for that, isn't it? And he says, you are super soul, you are the knower of all the desires, and you have actually manifested in the form of archa bigraha. Archa means worshipping, and bigraha is the deity what we see. So it is actually your compassion towards all living entity that you have come in the form of archa bigraha. Lord appears in the form of archa bigraha, maybe in wood at Lord Jagannath, in stones. We see Radha Shyamsundar in the stones, we see and all other things where they are. So all the matter things, in all matters, Krishna appears just to show his compassion. And by seeing him, actually we can worship. And then that worship is non-different than worshiping Lord Krishna himself. And that's why I say you are Ananta. Your benedictions are actually unlimited, and you are so merciful. And then they says, what can we request from you? He says that, however, the we ask for a benediction of the highest thing. What is that? We discussed that, association of devotees. You know, and they says, my dear Lord, as long as we have to remain within this material world due to our material contamination, and wander from one type of body to another type, from one planet to another, we pray that we may associate with those who are engaged in discussing your pastime. And we pray that for these benedictions, life after life, in different bodily forms and on different planets. So here, Prachetas are actually saying that we do not need liberation. Neither, we are happy anywhere, wherever you put us, because of our past karmas or whatever it is. Wherever you put us, either in heavenly planet or hellish planet, or anywhere. But we want that wherever we are, somehow or other, we should be engaged with the devotees who used to discuss your pastimes. That is the only benedictions that we ask for, and nothing more than that. Sometimes we are eager to go for liberations and other things, but here they are clearly saying that, we just want to hear about your glories. And a very nice verse comes here that compares the devotional service with all other things. Not even devotional service, just a moment association of the devotees. He says, tulayam lave napi na swargam na punarbhavan bhagvat sangi. Bhagvat means the devotees. Bhagvat sangi sangasya mrityanam ki utashita. He says, even a moment association with pure devotee cannot be compared to being transferred to heavenly planet, or even merging into Brahman effulgence, and which is complete effulgence in complete liberation. And for living entities who are destined to give up the body and die, association with pure devotee is the highest benediction. So they are again claiming that, transferring ourselves to heavenly planet, even merging with Brahman effulgence, that cannot be compared with a small or moment association with the pure devotees. And we see a very verses again in Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. No, sadhu sanga sarva shastra kahe, law mata sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoy. Law mata means small fraction of association of the devotees. It makes a huge change, and that's the fact. You see, pure devotee will see from Bhagavatam examples as mm, Narada Muni. So Narada Muni has not been associated with the other for a long time. He should just come, instruct, done. He becomes a pure devotee. See Durga Maharaj, see Prithu Maharaj, see, Narada Muni. In fact, he came and gave the instructions Vyasadev for this moment, and the Vyasadev written all these, scriptures for us. The Srimad Bhagavatam is present by him only for that. And if you see in Ramayana, the Balmiki, just association of the decade with some conversation, maybe some couple of time, and he became a pure devotee. He became a Valmiki, right? Just by even he was chanting the name with the opposite. Ulta naam japat jagajana, Valmiki bhai Brahma samana. That Valmiki, he becomes like, celebrity personality, and he was that's that's an importance of association of devotees. A fraction association of devotees. Just imagine if it's being said that a small association of the devotees can actually make a huge difference. What if we live our life with the devotees? We live our life associating and discussing about Krishna Katha. What kind of benediction we will get it? Just imagine it. And then they says, and you are actually the last verse. This says, the Supreme Lord Narayana is present among devotees who are engaged in hearing and chanting the holy name. So Lord Narayana, he is present within the devotees, within their heart, whoever is chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord. And Lord Narayana is the ultimate goal of even sannyasis. And those in the renounced order of life, and Narayana is worshipped through this Sankirtana movement by those who are liberated from metal contamination. Indeed, they recite the holy name again and again. So this holy name can be recited even by a sannyasi or even by a new devotees. So everyone can enjoy the chanting of holy name. Even if you see in our ISKCON, so that if you see if someone is sannyasi or someone has joined new, but the rules are actually applicable for everyone. The sannyasis also, he they perform every day Mangala Arati, they give the lectures, they chant the rounds as much as possible. It's not like that, okay, I became a president now, I'll do as of my wills. No, I don't have to wake up anymore. I don't have to go for any Mangala Arati, or I don't have to read the scriptures. No, they used to regularly do the same service. That is real renunciation, knowing that I'm renunciating just for the service of Lord, not for my own sense gratification. Right. And then even a new devotee who comes in the temple and join this, they are being asked or advised to do the same things. Get up in the morning, if possible, chant your rounds, read Prabhupada books. So that is the way Prabhupada is given as the society of for the whole world. He has Prabhupada said that this society of ISKCON is actually a home where all the living entities of the whole world can live there. Just imagine a single home where everyone can live. There is no discrimination of black or white or American or Indian or no, nothing is there. Everyone can come, everyone can sit, everyone can chant the same holy name, same Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And that is called as parodharma. Sve pumsam parodharma yato bhaktir adokshaje, doing worshipping Lord Vishnu. And that's what Pracetas are saying, that this is the best thing. And they have said here that Sankirtana movement. Sankirtana means chanting the holy name. And that is the Yuga Dharma of this Kali Yuga, that chanting of the holy name. And by chanting the holy name, we actually get the all benediction. Right? Everything is being fulfilled by that. We'll see in next canto, actually in canto 5th, where the devatas, they glorifies these earthly people for us, that how much pious activity we have done so that we are in this material world. We'll see that glorification, because they say that that is the place from where Krishna has came by his own self, and he has roamed around in the place of Vrindavan, and those places are very much auspicious, and just by doing some service they can actually get elevated, which is not possible in even in the heavenly planet as well, because in heavenly planet it's all more of enjoyment. We'll see that in next canto, in canto 5. And then the Prachetas, as given by as told by Lord Vishnu, to marry Marisha, and they married to Marisha, and the Lord departed. So before that, by Lord giving the instructions to Prachetas and by blessing them, and when Prachetas glorified Lord, after that Lord departed from there. And Prachetas, they were under water. So whatever scene we discussed now, that Lord Vishnu came and he glorified Prachetas, then Prachetas glorified Vishnu, and Lord went. Everything happened within the water. And now from water they emerged. The Prachetas, they came out. And when they came out, they could see that whole land is actually filled of huge, big trees. And I don't know, somehow or other they got angry, and they started burning the trees. The fire was coming from their mouth, and they started burning the trees. And lord Lord Brahma, he came up. He came up and asked them not to do this. And they said that, okay, if everywhere, if the trees will, then where we will do farming agriculture? That was the thing. But Lord Brahma said that, okay, we need some land for those agriculture things. That's all there, but now stop it. Do not burn anymore. And after that, the trees, as said by Krishna or Vishnu, the trees, they delivered the girl, Marisha, for marriage, and by the instruction of Brahmaji again, they they get married to her, and they ruled the kingdom for a long time. And after that, they retired. Before retiring, they had a son named Daksha. You remember the Daksha Prajapati, who's actually in the start of Canto 4, he cursed Lord Shiva, and there's a fight happened, and he got a uh, uh, yes, goat head, isn't it? And in the next slide, the same Daksha came as the son of Prajapatis, and then we will see about this in the next session as well. It comes again in fifth canto, a more description of that of Daksha, this Daksha. The third Daksha, in fact, one is Daksha Prajapati. He cursed Lord Shiva, and then uh, his head was chopped. And however, by the request of Brahmaji, he got his head again as a goat head. And again, by giving up this his body, he came back again as a son of the Prachetas, right? And then the Prachetas did retire. So we understand everywhere that everyone, they do some austerities. They after austerities, they rule the kingdom, and at that time they retire. So that's how they are unattached to the all material things. And when they detach, they went back for again for austerities. They meet Lord Narada Muni. So when they meet Narada Muni, they humbly, out of humbly, they said, okay, because of our attachment to this whole kingdom, we have forgot the instructions given by Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva to us. So kindly please enlighten us. However, because they have gone for austerity, they might not have forgotten it, but due to humbly, because a great personality is there, Narada Muni, so they asked them to please enlighten us. And then Narada Muni again, strict on devotional service, he gave the same. Human life is to achieve devotional service, and that's the goal of life. He says that without devotional service, there is no meaning. Or what is the meaning of severe austerities? What is the meaning of the process of hearing? What is the meaning of the power of speech? What is the meaning of mental speculation, elevated intelligence, strength, and the power of senses? There is no use of this without devotional service. And just now we discussed earlier that Lord Vishnu said that anyone who actually sings Rudra Gita, I give them that good intelligence. And we discussed that Srila Prabhupada says good intelligence means तेषां सतत युक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिं पूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धि योगंतम येने मां उपादन्ति ते. By that good intelligence, they can start worshipping me very well, and by that they can come back to my abode, or they start doing devotional service. That's a good intelligence. And here Narada Muni explaining that There is no use of having a very elevated education, elevated intelligence or strength, or the very good senses, or a very nice power of speech, or even the process of hearing, if it is not attached to devotional service. And then he says more that the transcendental practice that do not ultimately help one to realize the supreme personality of Godhead are all useless. And even the kind of mystic yoga process, or the Gyan yoga, or severe austerity, or even acceptance of sannyasa, or highly elevated in study of Vedic literature, all these may be very important aspects of spiritual advancement, because yes, we need to be strict in our discipline, we need to study the Vedas. However, if that practice do not ultimately help or one to realize supreme personality of Godhead, then that is useless. Because even in Kapil Muni, where he describes elaborately about Ashtanga yoga and Jnana yoga, then also he told the same thing, that this Ashtanga yoga and Jnana yoga, they need to culminate at the end the Bhakti yoga. Otherwise, it's again useless. So Narada Muni explained this again to the Prachetas, and this he says that all the rules and regulations are actually meant to satisfy Supreme Lord. He says, factual, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original source of all self-realization, and consequently the goal of all auspicious activities like karma, jnana, yoga, and even bhakti is what? To realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So either you do karma, or your jnana, or yoga, or bhakti, the ultimate thing is that we need to realize Supreme Personality of Godhead. And without realizing that, everything has become useless. And by that, he gives an example. He says, as pouring water on the roots of a tree energizes the trunk, the branches, the twigs, and everything. All things we see in the tree, it gets everything. And as if like a person, he just eat the food to the stomachs, and all his senses and limbs of the body are by default getting energy. Simply worshipping the Supreme Lord or Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, through devotional service automatically satisfies all the demigods who are the parts of the superpersonality of Godhead. So to elaborate, normally we do not water to the leaves or branches or twigs of a plant. We water to the roots. And Krishna is cause of all causes. He's the roots of everything. Right. And then he gives an example other, like we do not take food, maybe someone like chapati or a gulab jamun, he do not take food and rub on the skin or the hand. Okay, hand, you become energy. No, isn't it? We don't put on the face. We eat it, and all the food goes to our stomach, and by that all our limbs get energy. There's a nice story Prabhupada shares that once the hand and the leg and the senses, they thought, whatever we do, I used to go to office and I work on my computer for a long time, and the leg says I used to walk to the office, and the mind says, okay, I think so that you can work, and the eye says I see, that's why you can work. And but the ultimately the thing is that the stomach, he doesn't do anything, but he enjoy everything. Whatever we earn and things, everything goes to him only. He is only feeded. Okay, so from tomorrow, the leg says, I won't go, I won't walk, retire. The mind says, I won't think anymore. The eyes say, I don't open, I'll close out. Hand says, okay, I won't go as well. What happened? One day, the person survived, 2 days, but in a week time, the person was bedridden, was sick, because he got no energy. Then they all, the hand, the leg, and the eyes and the mind, they all thought, okay, yeah, actually stomach is the one who used to provide us the energy. Let's unite and serve him. So they all served the stomach, and again the whole body get energy. In the similar way, Lord Krishna is the cause of all causes, and when we serve Lord Krishna, automatically all the devatas, they are satisfied. That's what here Narada Muni is explaining to Pracetas. And then Prabhupada writes in purport that in Charitamrita it says, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita hai. This means what? Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita hai. If one is engaged in devotional service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is automatically accomplished. And then he glorify more onto that. He says, the Supreme Lord is actually worthy of all worship. Even in 7th chapter also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says many times that anyone who worship the demigods, I provide them the faith, and anyone who asks for the boon, even I provide them indirectly. And even he says, the people they worship the demigods, they do worship me in an indirect way. That is chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna is saying the same thing as well. And then here Lord Narada Muni, he concludes this chapter saying that because the Supreme Lord is cause of all causes, and you should therefore engage in his devotional service and thinking yourself qualitatively one with him. So we understood earlier, I still think, that we are in quality, we are same to Lord, but in quantity, we are small. In quantity, we cannot become Lord Krishna, and in no way of thinking that no, we can become God. So we are, by quality wise, we are eternal, we are Sachidananda, so we are eternal. However, in quantity wise, Krishna is huge, Krishna is Vibhu, and we are Anu, we are just little, and Krishna is gigantic, huge, complete, unlimited. And his glories, his talks, his pastimes is actually is expanding and expanding and expanding. Once my Guru Maharaj used to explain this story once. Once Brahma, we know Brahma he has 4 heads, isn't it? And he once went to see Lord Vishnu, and so the gatekeeper, they stopped him. He said, okay, so who are you? And he said, okay, just go and say to Krishna that Brahma has came to meet you. So the servant, they went to Krishna and said, okay, Brahma has came to meet you. And then the Lord Krishna said to the servant, go and ask which Brahma he is. And they came back and they said, okay, Lord has asked that which Brahma are you? And the Brahma got bewildered. How? What is it? And then when he entered into anyway, they took them inside, and then there he could see that all the other Brahmas, someone has 100 heads, someone has 10 heads, someone has 50 heads. So our Brahma, which we know, they has 4 heads, but other planets of Brahma, they have hundreds heads as well. So that is why Krishna's glories, his pastime, his forms is unlimited, and through our material senses, it won't be able to, it's not justice to uh, kind of check him who is. That is why we are equal to him in quality, but in quantity, we are not just a fragment of that. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita as well, we are his parts and parcel for eternal, right? And then by saying that, Narada Muni glorifies them, and he shower his mercy. He says, by showing mercy to all living entities, being satisfied somehow or other, and by restricting the sense from enjoyment, one can actually very easily please Supreme Lord Janardana. And similarly, he concludes these teachings to Pracetas, saying that, and then Pracheta went to meditate on Lord's supreme Lord's feet, and they went to Lord's abode. And then Sukadev Goswami, he narrates to Maharaj Parishit that I have told you about the Uttanapad. We are discussing actually about the 5 people, Uttanapad and the Manus, the children of Manus, Uttanapad, Priyavata, Akruti, Prasuti, and Bhuti. So now he said, I will narrate you about Priyavrata. So Priyavrata is another son of Manu, and that we will be discussing from Canto 5. And by hearing all this narration, actually, Canto 3 and Canto 4 are being discussed between couple of personalities, like first Sonaka Adirishi, and they are hearing from Suta Goswami, it Namisharanya. And that narration, he's describing about the narration of whom? Maharaj Parishit and Sukadev Goswami. And Sukadev Goswami and Maharaj Parishit, they are discussing about the narration between whom? Between Maitreya Muni and Vidura. And these two personalities, Maitreya Muni and Vidura, are discussing about the discussion happened between Lord Brahma and Lord Narada and the Pracetas, then Dhruv Maharaj, and everything over in between that. So 4 levels of discussion are going on. And then Sukadev Goswami says, Maharaj Parishit, that okay, I'll narrate you about Priyabrat Maharaj next. And by hearing this, the narration from Maitreya Muni, Vidura, actually, he just rushed to Hastinapur to save Dhritarashtra from the ill effect what he is doing. And still he was attached to the kingdom. And he that we heard it earlier, that how he went and chastised to Dhritarashtra, saying that no, still you are eating from the remnants given by the Bhima, and these are the people who you wanted to kill them, and now you are taking shelter of them. And by saying so many things, then Dhritarashtra retired, and he went for self realizations, and then Vidura followed him. Also Gandhari followed them, and that was a narration of how Vidura Muni came from Hastinapur and then went back to Hastinapur for enlightening Dhritarashtra. And that is how we conclude Canto 4, and we will pay our obeisances to Canto 4. And just a quick suggestion or question for every one of you. And I was thinking to do a recap tomorrow from Canto 1 to Canto 4 in a very quick manner what we have discussed, so that you don't forget. Repetition is required. Very quickly, we'll see what discussion we have seen through, or shall we continue Canto 5? So it's all on to you as you decide. Any questions for today's sections, please let me know.
I think, Prabhu, once repetition will be beneficial.
Okay.
I agree with Arijit.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it would be a good idea to recap what we have done so far. It'll keep our memory fresh. I take notes what I can, but I'm not always with it.
That's great. Yeah, we will do that. Repetition is required. Today in the morning, I was hearing a lecture from my Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj says, the people who come to ISKCON maybe think, okay, this ISKCON people always talk the same thing, that we have to do service to Lord, and we have to chant the holy name, always the same thing. Why? And Guru Maharaj says, repetition is required because we are in Kali Yuga, and if you don't hear it again and again and again and again, we don't do the thing. Though many times we hear that, okay, the auspicious things is to chant the holy name, but still somehow or other either we miss it or neglect it. So repetition is much required for us as well. And yes, I'll try to make it very short, and so that by tomorrow only we can cover all the 4 cantos very briefly onto this. Okay. Any questions from today?
Can I have another suggestion?
Yes,
Since
please.
we usually do 45 minutes every day, because you're going to repeat and concisely, can we have a session for 1 hour tomorrow, if everybody agrees?
Yes, I agree. I agree with
Uncle.
yeah, uncle. Agree with uncle. No, I was thinking, people over here, do they want to be called uncle? That's why I was hesitating. Don't take it other way, please.
No, I
Yes,
don't mind.
uncle.
I can't hide my age. And at 50 years ago, anybody called me uncle and I used to look down at them. But anybody calls me uncle, they call me grandfather. I love it.
You are grandfather now.
Yeah, I'm both.
That's
No,
great.
uncle is better. Uncle works for me.
Okay, that's fine. Anybody is welcome to use that word. I won't be offended. We won't be offended.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
By
you
the way,
everyone for.
one suggestion. See,
Yeah,
we
yes,
are
please.
all meeting on Zoom every day. Once when the lockdown is over, we should get together for a cup of tea or something like that. And anyone,
Definitely.
will be a good idea.
Well, as long as you bring samosas, I don't mind.
Yes, absolutely.
My God, food.
Absolutely. I am also a foodie person, uncle.
No problems.
He's a
No
foodie.
problem. My best sweet is rasgulla.
Oh, unfortunately, over here we don't get that quality rasgulla. But again, I will try my level best to get some for you when we meet each other next.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, yes.
Okay, I'll hold your turn. I think Prabhuji wants to go.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm okay here. Actually, just before the lockdown, so we used to have program at my home every day. Sorry, every Friday, and we used to all have nice prasadam every time. A different thing.
We are
So
missing it.
that's all we are missing as well.
We are missing.
We are missing that all fun of having lecture for 1.5 hour, then having prasadam and everyone here.
Birthdays and we are missing.
Yet and all Saturday morning is for me for all cleaning up things.
I know.
Right. Anyway, okay. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki,
Ki
Jai.
jai,
Srila Prabhupada ki,
Yeah.
jai.
Hare Krishna. So
Hare
see you
Krishna.
tomorrow, everyone.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.